Welcome to the Folktale Project. This is Dan Schulz. Today's story is a North American folktale captured by Charles Skinner in Myths and Legends of Our Own Land. And here, Mr. Skinner turns his attention to the Central States. This is Wallen's Ridge. A century ago, this rough eminence a dozen miles from Chattanooga, Tennessee, was an abiding place of Cherokee Indians, among whom was Arinook, their medicine man, and his daughter. The girl was pure and fair, and when a white hunter saw her one day at the door of her father's wigwam, he was so struck with her charm of person and her engaging manner that he resolved not to return to his people until he had won her for his wife. She had many lovers, though she favored none of them. And while the Cherokees were at first loath to admit a stranger to their homes, they forgot their jealousy when they found that this one excelled as a hunter and fisherman, that he could throw the knife and tomahawk better than themselves, and that he was apt in their work and their sports. They even submitted to the inevitable with half a grace when they found that the stranger and the girl of whom they were so fond of were in love. With an obduracy that seems to be characteristic of fathers, the medicine man refused his consent of the union, and the hearts of the twain were heavy. Though the white man pleaded with her to desert her tribe, she refused to do so, on the score of duty to her father, and the couple forlornly roamed about the hill, watching the sunset from its top and passing the bright summer evenings alone, sitting hand in hand, loving, sorrowing, and speaking not. In one of their long rambles they found themselves beside the Tennessee River, at a point where the current swirls among rocks and sucks down things that float, discharging them at the surface in still water down the stream. Here for a time they stood, when the girl, with a gush of tears, began to sing. It was her death song. The white man grasped his hand and joined his voice to hers. Then they took a last embrace and flung themselves into the water, still hand in hand. When the river is low, you may hear their death song sounding there. The Manitous of the river and the wood were offended with the medicine man because of his stubbornness and cruelty, although he suffered greatly because of the death his daughter died, and he the cause of it. For now strange Indians appeared among the Cherokees and drove the deer and bear away. Tall, strong, and large were these intruders, and they hung about the village by day and night, never speaking, yet casting a fear about them, for they would throw great rocks farther than a warrior could shoot an arrow with the wind behind him. They had horns springing from their heads. Their eyes were the eyes of wildcats and shone in the dark. They growled like animals, shaking the earth when they did so, and breathing flame. They were at the bedside, at the council fire, at the banquet, seeming only to wait for a show of enmity to annihilate the tribe. At length, the people could endure their company no longer, and taking down their lodges, they left Wallen's Ridge, and wandered far away, until they came to a valley where no foot had left its impress. And there they besought the Great Spirit to forgive their wrong the medicine man had done, and to free them from the terrible spirits that had been living among them. The prayer was granted, and the lodges stood for many years in a safe and happy valley. And that is the Tennessee folktale of Wallen's Ridge, captured by Charles Skinner. This is Dan Schulz for the Folktale Project. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Overcast, anywhere that you like to get to your podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter at Folktale Project. You can find us on Auto Radio, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio. And you can always head over to folktaleproject.com, where you'll find a new story waiting for you every weekday morning. Thanks for listening.